Hello, this is Ashley Sherrill, and this is my lesson plan, sections 4 through 6. Section 4 is activities. What activities have you planned? At the beginning of the lesson, the students and I will arrange the desk in a circle formation in the middle of the room, and we will read the lesson from the book over cells, tissues, and organs aloud while taking turns individually. I will give time for the students to think about the reading and to rearrange their desks back into rows. Explanation. I will speak about what cells, tissues, and organs are, the characteristics of each, and how they relate to each other. I will explain why knowing the relationship of cells, tissues, and organs and how they work are important in the lesson and in life. Modeling. I will explain and review the characteristics of cells, tissues, and organs and know how to identify all of them. I will then show a diagram to the class that shows the hierarchical relationships of cells, tissues, and organs and explain the relationships to them. As I'm explaining the relationships, I will be asking questions to the students about information that has been reviewed in the previous reading assignments that has to do with characteristics of cells, tissues, and organs. Guided practice. While asking questions about the reading in the diagram, I will instruct students to take notes with a pencil and a paper. I will ask students to tell me the main parts of the cell, give examples of tissue types, and examples of organs. I will ask students to think about the overall process and relationship of cells, tissues, and organs, and how it all relates with living organisms. Independent practice. Students will take out a blank piece of paper and pencil. I will give a short review quiz of the material covered in the lesson. I will write 5 questions on the board and read each question aloud to the class. The students will write the answers to the questions on their paper, and when they are done, they will raise their hand, and I will pick up their quizzes. Report. To conclude the lesson and report, I will make sure everyone has completed and turned in their quizzes, and I will ask if there is any questions about the information that was covered in today's lesson. Why have you chosen these activities? I chose these activities because the student will be able to interact and communicate while understanding and learning the objective. Through reading, asking questions, and completing the quiz, the standards will build their knowledge of the overall objective. The modeling of the diagram will make students think about the relationship of cells, tissues, and organs and how they all tie into form living organisms. The independent practice will make the students remember and think about the lesson and information covered, because tomorrow we'll be moving on to learning about cells, tissues, organs, and organs functions in multicellular organisms. 5. Section 5, Materials and Resources. What instructional materials will you use? I will use a science book, which is the teacher's copy. The students will also use a copy of the science book. Cell, tissue, and organ relationship diagram that I will display for the students while explaining. A marker board, markers to give the quiz and write the questions on the board. The students will use pencils and paper for notes and for the quiz. Why have you chosen these materials? I have chosen these materials and resources because they will help facilitate students' learning and understanding of the objective. The text of the book will help and guide students when comprehending the lesson. I will use the diagram to explain and show the visual characteristics and relationships of cells, tissues, and organs. I will use the marker board and markers to display and write the quiz questions. The students will use the pencils and papers for notes and to take the quiz in the independent evaluation. Section 6, Evaluation. How and when do you plan to evaluate student learning on the content of this lesson? I will be evaluating the students throughout the entire lesson by using the formative assessment through teacher observation and questioning. I will particularly be listening and paying attention to the students' questions and answers during the modeling and guided practice. At the end of the lesson, I plan to evaluate students on the content of the lesson by having them complete a quiz individually. I will use this evaluation to determine where my students stand in their ability to comprehend the text and the overall objective of the lesson. Why have you chosen this approach for evaluation? I have chosen this approach for evaluation because I am able to determine whether or not my students were fully able to comprehend and visualize the characteristics and relationships of cells, tissues, and organs. By the students completing the quiz, I can better assess the class individually on the lesson. And that completes my lesson, sections 4 through 6. Thank you.